Hi everybody, this is Kenneth Wong, your Burmese language instructor. Welcome to a new intermediate Burmese lesson. When you need to assign a reason for something, for example, because of bad weather, I cannot come to the class, or because the train is late, I won't get to Mandalay on time, you can use the particle lo or jaung, also pronounced jaung. The difference is you use one with nouns and noun clauses and the other with verbs and verb clauses. Shall we begin? We'll start with something very simple. To go outside is a bien thuade. A bien thuade. Let me break it down for you. A bien is outside. Thuade is a verb to go. Adding the auxiliary verb chen or jin makes it want to go outside, as in a bien thuajende. A bien thuajende. I want to go outside. The negative version of that is a bien mathuajimbu. Dine a bien mathuajimbu. Today, I don't want to go outside or go out. Now let's see how you might give a reason or a cause for you feeling that way today. First, using a noun as a reason. Yadi udu is the word that means weather. Let me repeat it. Yadi udu. So, if you want to say because of the weather, I don't want to go outside, what you can say is Dine yadi udu jaung apien mathwajimbu. Dine yadi udu jaung apien mathwajimbu. You tag the word yadi udu or weather, a noun, with the reason particle jaung right behind it. Yadi udu jaung. Yadi udu jaung. That means because of the weather. Then you can go ahead and finish your sentence. Apien mathwajimbu. Dine yadi udu jaung apien mathwajimbu. Or yadi udu jaung dine apien mathwajimbu. That particular word order is fine either way. The important thing is to tag your reason, yadi udu, with the reason indicator particle, jaung. Yadi udu jaung, because of the weather. Now, you could be more precise and say because the weather is bad or the weather is not good. That's the reason you don't want to go outside. The verb to be well or good is kyaung de. Kyaung de. This is the same verb you heard in common greetings like ni kyaung la when someone wants to ask you, are you feeling well? Are you doing okay? How are you? And the negative version of that verb is makaung bu. Makaung bu. Put it together with the word for weather, you get yadi udu makaung bu. Yadi udu makaung bu. The weather is not good. If you'd like to say because the weather is not good, and that is your reason for not wanting to go out, you can say yadi udu makaung lo. Yadi udu makaung lo. The reason indicator lo goes right behind the negative verb makaung. One common mistake I've seen with beginning Burmese learners is they would say makaung bu lo. Yadi udu makaung bu lo. You cannot do that because the moment you say makaung bu, you have effectively ended a sentence. So it's no longer a verb clause, a subordinate clause is what you need. If you do that, you'll need a different approach using, for example, the conjunction da jaung. Therefore, that's for a whole new different lesson. We'll set it aside for now. Yadi udu makaung lo. Because the weather is not good. Then you can go ahead and finish your sentence with the original statement. Apien mathwajimbu. The whole thing now. Yadi udu makaung lo. Apien mathwajimbu. Because the weather is not good. I don't want to go outside. Since Burmese is tonal, it's important to pronounce these words with the correct tone. They require the short, abrupt tone, as if you've been interrupted mid-sentence, so you should be pronouncing them as lo or jaung or jaung. You should not be pronouncing in a different tones as lo or jaung or jaung, because if you do that, they would mean completely different things. Let me give you another example. If you're feeling sad, depressed, or frustrated, you might describe how you feel as say nyenere. Say nyenere. Let me break it down here. Say is the mind, your mental disposition. Nyenere is to be dirty, muddy, unclear, in progressive form, meaning this is how you're currently feeling continuously. Quite literally, you're saying, my mind is muddy or unclear. But trust me, this is the expression that means to be sad, frustrated, or depressed. Now, how would you assign a reason? If you want to say because of work, then you're using a noun as your reason. So in that case, the particle you need is jaung or jaung. The word for work is alo, alo. So alo jaung, alo jaung, because of work. Alo jaung, say nire. Alo jaung, say nire. Because of work, I'm feeling down. I'm feeling rather depressed. On the other hand, if your girlfriend, boyfriend, or your significant other is the reason you're feeling that way, then you might say, "Yizajiang, Yizajiang, 생년이래. Because of my girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm feeling kind of depressed." If you want to give your reason with a verb clause, for example, I have too much work, then particle you need is lo, lo. In Burmese, there is a verb that means to be excessive or to be too much, and that is myare, myare. So, zaga myare, for example, is to be talkative or to be argumentative. Alo myare, alo myare. That's how you would say the workload is too much, the work is excessive. To say because I have too much work, you would say alo myalo. Alo mialo. Then go ahead and finish your original thought. Alo mialo. 생년이래. Because I've got too much work, I'm feeling rather down. You might have already come across the Burmese verb to have or to exist. That is shide. Shide. Now, there are two more ways in which you might want to explain why you're feeling down or depressed. For example, because I don't have a job. In that case, you will say, alo mashilo. 생년이래. Alo mashilo. Because I don't have a job. 생년이래. I'm feeling kind of depressed. Or yiza mashilo. Yiza mashilo. Because I don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. 생년이래. I'm feeling kind of depressed. By the way, you might notice that the word jano for male speaker or jama for female speaker, first person pronouns, are missing in these sentences. You can use them, of course, but if you really listen to how native Burmese speakers talk, you might notice that they often omit or leave out these kind of pronouns if the context makes it clear. You can say "Yizamashilo jano" or "jama" 생년이래, depending on your gender. "Jano" or "jama" alo mialo 생년이래. But you can also leave them out if it is clear you're talking about yourself. In fact, that makes you sound much more like a local person. The last point I like to cover is using a gerund or a verb that has been converted into a noun clause. Alo miare. Alo miare is a verb clause with a regular affirmative verb, miare, to be excessive. But alo miada. Alo miada is the gerund form, sort of like adding an ing to the end of an English verb. Now that means having too much work, a noun clause. So if that is your reason, you should say alo miada jaung. Alo miada jaung. 생년이래. Because of having too much work, I'm feeling depressed. The same goes for other example too. Alo mashibu is the negative verb clause, to not have a job. Alo mashida. Alo mashida is the gerund form. So if that is your reason, you could say alo mashida jaung. Alo mashida jaung. 생년이래. Because of not having a job, I'm feeling rather down. If someone asks you, why are you learning Burmese? How might you explain it? How would you give it a reason? First, figure out if the reason is a noun or a verb clause. If a noun is your reason, for example, you have a Burmese girlfriend and she is the reason, then you might simply say, "Yizajang, Yizajang, pamazagat thinide," or "Jano Yizajang, pamazagat thinide," because of my girlfriend. I'm learning, studying Burmese. On the other hand, if your reason is a verb clause, as in because I want to speak to my Burmese friend, then you might say, "Pama thinge jin ne, zaka pyo jin lo." ဗမာစကားသင်နေတယ်ဗမာတငယ်ချင်းနဲ့စကားပြောချင်လို့ဗမာစကားသင်နေတယ် So why are you learning Burmese, by the way? I'm curious. If you want, you can use this structure that you have just learned to share your reason in the comments so that I can take a look and, if needed, correct it for you. This fall, starting last week of August, I will begin teaching introductory Burmese or Burmese 1A at UC Berkeley. This is a class for complete beginners, so if you're a student going there, I hope to see you in my class. That's it for this episode. See you later. Now, my dream man.